Last week on Commitment Sunday, we talked about giving fully in order to live fully, inspired by Micah 6:8. I'm deeply grateful to be pastoring a church like Calvary, a church that seeks to do all that we can to do what the Lord requires of us and that the Lord calls good, doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly with God. Today wrapped up our Connections class, and as our newest members introduced themselves a couple weeks ago, and they shared why they were here at Calvary, I was inspired. Their honesty, candor, and gratitude were palpable. They are not just here to be at church. They are here because this church is an expansive and welcoming community. And what they shared spoke of the values of Micah 6:8. One new member said she appreciates Calvary because as a member of the LGBTQ+ community, there are many places in the world where she can only show up as 25% of herself, and at Calvary, she can be her full 100% self. This is a glimpse of justice. Another new member who was nervous about coming back to church after suffering harm in a church and taking a 5-year break said that she was greeted by two ladies at the front doors of Calvary. And at first she paused because she was dressed very differently than them and she was decades younger than them. But these two older ladies, as she said, didn't miss a beat. They greeted her warmly and ushered her into the sanctuary, helping her find her place. This kind of hospitality is deeper than a nice smile. This is a glimpse of loving kindness. And yet another new member described Calvary as having the very best aspects of many different denominations and worship styles, all wrapped up into one place. Warmth and fellowship, hymns and liturgy, thoughtful sermons and personalized prayers. It's ritual in a relaxed way, he said. This is a glimpse of worship, teaching us how to walk humbly with God. This is Calvary. This is who we are. And if these stories from our newest members aren't inspiring enough, remember that we don't just give in order to live for ourselves. We give for our community and for our children and for our children's children. So while your dollars may come to you in Chronos time, when you give, it ensures that God's ministry continues for Kairos time, as Calvary creates these glimpses of the kingdom of God here on earth. Calvary, I'm pleased to report that last week on Commitment Sunday, many of you gave fully to help us live fully into 2023 and beyond. 81 individuals and families pledged to make a financial commitment for the ministry of Calvary next year. Those 81 pledges represent 114 people and about $427,000. They include 8 new pledges since last year and 40 increased pledges, which is remarkable in these difficult economic times. This is a great start. $427,000 in pledged revenue represents about half of what it currently costs to do ministry at Calvary. And so in order not to cut in half our ministry's staff or building next year, which is not a pleasant thought, we do hope to double this number. But the good news is we know that there are about 170 individuals or families out there who have yet to make your financial commitment. So if you're here today, if you connect with our church online, if you connect occasionally, if you connect every single week or just once in a blue moon, we need your financial support. You may not know that we're not funded by an outside entity. We're a congregation-supported church. That means it's the money that you give and I give that funds all of our ministry, our staff, our building, our missions giving. And it is really true that the more fully we all give, the more fully we all live. So, for those who have not yet done so, please turn in your commitment card by December 6th. Our budget reconciliation process will be well underway by then. You may also email your commitment to our church accountant, LaJuan Jones. Her email is ljones@calvarydenver.org. And many thanks to each and every one of you who have already made your commitment. Thank you for choosing to share part of what God has given to you with this church. It turns out that in the end, investigating stewardship is really about investing ourselves into the God who has invested everything in us. And what a gift that is. Our ushers will now come and receive our tithes, offerings, and our commitment cards. And may we give with gratitude for what has been, what is, and what will be.